So far this year, that is not how they have scored their runs, but they will certainly take it. And we were talking about Joe Mack and what he brings to the table. If he can do that on a more regular basis, suddenly that left-handed swing becomes a whole lot more dangerous. Performance at the plate and behind the plate.
All right, everyone. My pleasure to have Mr. Joe Mack with me today on Moneyball. What is up, my man? Man, you're turning a lot of heads right now. And kudos, man. You're putting in the work, you're grinding, and it's paying off. I'm sure you have the opportunity to make Miami a home or Arizona a home or wherever, and you still choose Buffalo.
Absolutely. I mean, I do have a house in Jupiter when I go down there and, do spring training and stuff like that. So I am there for a long time. So definitely is nice to have a spot there. You don't have to worry about a roommate or anything like that. So
yeah, there's something about Buffalo too, right? Like, people not from Buffalo don't understand, man, and I'm I'm a Hamburg guy, you're a Williamsville guy. And what they don't understand is, like, the first couple of snowfalls, they're really beautiful. They're nice. And everybody, like, comes together, communities get together to snow and everything else. And then by, like, right after Christmas, you're ready to kill somebody. Like, the same neighbor you were helping him out outside, you're ready to murder him. Like,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
Like, some of his snow blows onto you're like, all right, man, that's it. Like, it's too long, isn't it? Like, our winter's too long, bro.
Absolutely. I completely agree. The snow's just been starting to fall, but it's been a lot. It's been a lot this year. And already it's been way more than the past couple of years I've been here. So
agreed. It's dumping on us.
Yeah.
So listen, man, your trajectory is it's going where I kind of always thought it would. I followed you for, a few years here as far as the being drafted and a local guy, right? So that's always going to make some headlines and make some news around this area. A lot of hockey kids come out of this area, not a ton of baseball. And the path that you're on right now, man, and just the work you're putting in, I just want to say kudos, man, and everything. It's really paying off. How's everything been going? I mean, how do you feel right now as far as confidence, and where do you sit mentally right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming off a season, like that, I'm not going to get too high on it, and I'm not going to, go all the way bottom to the low. I'm just going to stay even keel, have a good neutral mindset about it all, and, definitely be happy and, take it all in, soak it all in when you can. And then, when it's time to work like it is now, all that stuff goes out the window, and, you're just competing and, just doing everything you can to come back even better than last year.
It's a what have you done for me lately league, right? They all are. I mean, every league, any professional league, even just job, it's a what have you done for me lately? And today's hero, can be tomorrow's scapegoat. And it's going to be, you had a great season, man. 24 bombs, I think, 70 something ribbies. I mean, did you play the whole season? Were you healthy all year?
I did, yes. I missed like 1 or 2 games due to either an injury or, yeah, I think so. Yeah, they were both to that.
We got to see a healthy Joe Mack. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We got to see really what the potential is there. And like I said, man, it turned heads. It obviously turned heads in the organization. It's got you rising on that prospect list, and it's got a lot of people excited. How are you handling that aspect of things? I mean, I'm sure you're hearing things, and obviously you don't seem like the type of dude that would let his head swell up too much, but how are you staying humble and how are you kind of, keeping yourself motivated and humble, I guess, mentally?
Yeah, I mean, it's the simplest answer for me. It's my faith in Jesus and, how God is and what he does. Anything that I do is good, but it ultimately doesn't really matter. And, I think that when I kind of understood that, whatever I do on the baseball field, good or bad, it's all for the glory of him. And that's really what keeps me level and keeps me coming back. And, the love for the game has gotten more and more and more the more that I play it. And, I just want to do my absolute best and, prove to the people that, people from anywhere can be the best or can just, have great seasons or have great careers and stuff. So, just representing from where I'm from and, just going back to the roots and spending time with family and different things like that, just to kind of reset all that. And, I think that when I'm really focused on baseball, like super focused on baseball, it's really good. But when I'm also with my friends and having a good time and my family, then I'm also going to have an even better time because, when I'm there, it's baseball. And then when I'm out, I'm just having a good time with my friends. And so that's a little reset that helps me get back to the next day. So those are kind of some things that I just like doing and that have stuck with me for the past year.
Phenomenal answer. And I like that you separate the two. It's A lot of people don't realize when professional athletes, there is an off switch. You know what I'm saying? I think for the general fan, I've been around a lot of athletes doing the show a few years and talking to them, and there's one thing that everyone kind of shares the same consensus on, and that's the human element of it, right? I think fans sometimes get a little bit too caught up in the fact that you guys are human or not, that you guys are not, like you're just superstars, supernatural to them, right? Like, because everybody looks up to it and kids look up to you and everything else. You guys need a break too. You need an off switch, man. When you're out having dinner or hanging out with the boys, that's your downtime. That's you need that. And it's almost like a reboot, right? Like a computer reboot or something like that. You need that time. I think it's very important. It's not only professional athletes. I think in a marriage, you need that. In any relationship, anything, like you need that kind of reset. And I think that's a great answer on how you in particular, kind of stay humble and keep that going. And obviously the faith is a big thing, and you have some good parents. I can hear that. I can hear a lot of Williamsville Buffalo in you, bro. And Charlie had the same sentiment, big faith driven people. And did you play travel ball in Williamsville?
I did when I was younger, about 8, 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, like coming up. And then give me your path, I guess. So 8, 9, 10, 11, let's say even 12 to 15 or whatever. How was your path? Like, where were you then?
So I was it was a team called the Titans, and it was a local team around here, and we did a bunch of tournaments around here, and we did some things in New Jersey and close states to New York when I was younger, and went to Cooperstown when I was 12, did all of that. That was a blast, everything. And then after that, I actually played with a team called Arsenal, and it was a New Jersey team, and we got hooked up with them. And I went to Georgia and to Florida and to California and all those places to play baseball. And it was really good because, in the South, it's warm. There's better competition, all that stuff. There's scouts down there, all of that stuff. So, you kind of got to go to where the people are going to be. So, doing that stuff was definitely a jump, and it was definitely new. But, the faster you do that and the quicker you get exposed to all that, the better it is. You just learn from all that stuff. You learn from those guys. I've learned a lot from those people that I've played with in high school, and, just going through travel with them and seeing what they do day to day, and, just spending time with them. And, it's always been a grind, and I've never been home for a season. I've always been away for summer. So, all the kids always ask me, you don't like that? Or, do you wish you were home? And every time I say, no, I really don't care. I'd rather be playing baseball, and I'd rather be going to do something that brings me joy. And, it's really cool. And that was kind of my path towards that spot. And it was the All-American team, the All-American game. And I played for Team USA, but that year got shut down due to COVID, unfortunately. So we were never able to play that year, but that was also a part of it as well. So
you're still on their roster though, correct? Like you're rostered on Team USA that year, I think. You guys just didn't play.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Officially a member of Team USA, which, listen, it's still pretty cool, right? So even though you didn't get to play, you did make that squad, which is not an easy task, man. I mean, you look at the past members of Team USA and some of those Cooperstown teams, all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's good company to be in. I think the travel ball, man, listen, I'm a coach. I'm involved with travel ball. My son's 11. He just had a season with Academy Stars, and I don't want to knock their organization or anything, right? Jonah's from Academy, but for him, so he was 10 and he was playing up to an 11U team, and he's a good little ball player. He did pretty well. He led the team in average playing up and whatever, right? I'm like any other dad in the world that's going to talk great about their son. And that after the year ended, and they sent us a message and they said, hey, Deacon is welcome back. I go, Deacon, what do you want to do, man? You want to go back? And he goes, no, Dad, can I go back to Eden? Like right away, he said, Dad, can I go back to Eden? And I'm like, why do you want to go back to the Eden, or like a township organ? And he goes, because I want my walk-up song. Like, think about that. You know what I mean? Like the kid, we sometimes as parents, and now you, even because you've been, so involved with it, the love of the game is that's what we first fall in love with, is baseball and everything that comes with it. And he said that, and I just stopped for a minute, Joe, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Like a walk-up song, man. Like that's part of it. Justin's a good dude, whatever, not slandering the organization, but I want my son to do what makes him happy. So he can go loosen up, get his walk-up song, man, get his what was it? He had Kanye, Can't Tell Me Nothing or something, like, and he went up and he had a little swag and it loosened him up at the plate. The point is, we can't take the fun out of baseball. You know what I'm saying? Or any youth sport for that matter. We have to keep the fun involved. What's your take on that?
I absolutely agree with that. At the end of the day, if you're not enjoying it, then, I don't,
Yeah.
what's the point? That's to anything in life. If you don't enjoy your job, then what's the point of that? If you don't enjoy, certain things. I think it's just really also hard to find joy every single day playing baseball, because you do the same thing over and over and it's getting repetitive and you have really high streaks and you have really low streaks and it's just all that stuff. So like finding that balance between there is really, really important. And that's why, hanging out with your friends outside of it or calling your family members or whatever it is a good reset for you that, allows you to just be like, okay, tomorrow it's going to be a great day. I'm going in and playing baseball. I'm going to find some joy in there, and I think that that is what helps you play even better. When you can find that little joy and that fun in there, I think the stress starts to come off a little bit and you start to be a little bit freer and, you just even have more fun by doing that.
Was there ever a point, up until now where you were just sick of or fed up with the game this month or this day, whatever? Did you ever get in a funk like that?
Definitely.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
That even happened last year. Some points, oh, this stinks. It's the worst. Why am I even here? This, and all of that stuff goes through your head, regardless of where you are, what you've done or what you haven't done yet. It's going to happen. Those are going to happen. And, I think it's just, I honestly think it's good because, you can't really always be on that high. You can't really always be on that low. You got to find some way to get back on that neutral wave. And, those are the humbling moments where it just keeps you back. It's like, all right, today I went over 4 with 4 strikeouts. Okay. We're going to do something better tomorrow. You got to find something to do and find the joy in that. And I think that's what kind of keeps me coming back. And, the variables in the game, there's so many of them, but, you try and eliminate most of the ones that you can. And that just kind of helps you just focus and, be calmer and just have a little bit more passion about it too.
That's an interesting take, right? You probably don't have too many dudes who are on like a streak, like an 8 for 10 streak with 5 knocks that are like, oh man, I'm sick of the game, right? But you probably have quite a few who are in an 0 for 15 streak, who are like, okay, I'm fed up with it. You know what I mean? Just
absolutely.
Like, yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
And when you're striking the ball,
it's super easy to stay on the high wave, but it's the hardest part when you're on the bottom, how you can get out of that.
Yeah.
It's super easy to just ride the ride, but it's really hard to kind of get off that ride and come back down. And it's also really hard to get back up to the ride. So, it's just a lot, but it's really cool because, I've done a lot of work with this guy. His name's Alan Yeager, and he does a lot of mental stuff. So it's like, process wise and, variables and the zone and all that stuff. And he's helped me out a bunch with that stuff. So I definitely have to give him credit. Huh?
Is he a local guy?
He's from California. He actually invented the J bands, like those J bands people use for throwing.
Yeah.
He invented that stuff. Okay. And he also does like those sports mental psychology stuff. So
I'm getting more and more into that. And, I'm focusing now on raising a family and being a good dad and coach and focusing on the right things. And I'm a big universe karma guy, man, faith guy, right? Like all of those things. And the more you kind of unwrap that stuff with the mental aspect, right? There's a couple guys that I'm kind of following. Now, people do all kinds of crazy stuff now. The grounding, you walk out into the yard naked and all
bare
that
feet.
Stuff.
Yeah.
People do all kinds of wild stuff, man, right? Like it used to just be a slump buster back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't had one of those. I've never done that, but I definitely understand what you're saying. So
no, dude, you played that very well. You played that off very well. Good job. Tried to catch you sleeping for a minute, bro.
Oh, sir.
I've never had one of those. That was funny. So, but now, the mental stuff, the grounding, I think there is a component to that, but like exercise for your brain, right? That's how I look at it. Oh, and I don't know Alan Yeager. It sounds like I want to, or, hear some of his stuff, but what are a few of his components or lessons that he's taught you to keep your mental fresh?
Well, the one biggest one is be where your feet are. When you're where your feet are, you're in the present and you're not thinking ahead, you're not thinking behind, and you're just where your feet are. Right now, we're doing the Moneyball interview and all that stuff, and we're here. I'm not thinking about what I have to do in 45 minutes or what just happened an hour ago. It's just
I love that.
We're here in the present moment and being where our feet are.
So
that's definitely one of the biggest ones.
How do you wipe stuff out? I mean, you're a busy guy and you're a pro athlete. How do you not, you know what I mean? Like that's tough to do. You saying that gives me anxiety. Like it's hard for me, you know what I mean, to not think like, oh my God, what am I doing in 45 minutes or whatever? Did it take you a while to learn that stuff? Like
Absolutely, yeah. It definitely took me a while, probably a couple months, I would say. Just getting on with him and just talking with him.
Yeah.
Every week, just once a week, twice a week, whatever it was, just doing all that stuff. And then I also got into meditation very, very recent, not recently, but a lot last year as well. So that also kind of just really calms the mind and just, you're not really not thinking about anything. You're kind of allowing those thoughts to happen, but you're not overthinking about it. It's like, okay, I'm meditating and, a thought comes up. Oh, I got to take my dog for a walk in 5 minutes. Okay, cool. Let me just go right back to the meditation and stay on that even keel. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask you. Is it hard when you're meditating? Is it hard to get into that state? What do they call it? Like a Zen or whatever? People have told me it's really hard to work up to that. Have you found it hard?
Absolutely. I thought it was very difficult the first times that I've done it. I think it took me almost a month to kind of figure out how the thoughts just come in and go out, instead of they come in and they stay. Yeah. I think that was definitely the hardest part for me. It was letting the thoughts just be there and just letting them ride out and not overthinking and not letting them take over. I think that was definitely a difficult part for me. But once I got that down and, I'm still not a master at it. I still am practicing every day and it's really difficult. But I think that once you kind of understand that a little bit, then, I think it's a little bit smoother from there because, it's not easy, but it's not super difficult. It's a little bit smoother when I think you understand that.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thank you for that because that's something, I've been kind of myself researching. I don't know, you just motivated me a little bit. So thank you. You're like a Buddhist monk.
Great. Call him the Zen master.
Yeah, you got a new nickname now. So you'll be down in Jupiter soon, right? You'll be spring training, early February?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure the exact date or anything, but catchers and pitchers report usually around the end of January. So yeah.
You excited?
Be down there absolutely. I'm excited. We're doing everything we can to get prepared and be ready for the season and all that stuff. So definitely exciting stuff.
I'm glad Moneyball got you in here before the real hounds start coming after you, man. You are obviously a very high prospect at this point. You're starting to see, your stock raise from everything from interviews to photo ops to baseball cards for that matter. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to see your stock rise and you're a salt of the earth guy, man. I enjoy talking to you a lot because I can see where your head's at. To be honest with you, Joe, I could be wrong. It's just the fact that you've kind of done a lot more than a lot of 21-year-olds, right? Are you 21 or 22? I think you're turning 22 in a month or so. So when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, traveling around, doing all that stuff, you're kind of forced to grow up sooner.
Absolutely. Being away from home, being away from your parents, all that stuff, it's definitely kind of a wake-up call. And, the first year that I was really away from my mom and dad was difficult, learning to doing the laundry, cleaning your room, doing the dishes, doing all that stuff on your own, versus a little bit of help and stuff like that is definitely a little bit much. But, once you kind of settle in and, figure out that, okay, what else am I going to do? If I just leave this here, in the dishwasher, they're just not going to get clean or anything. So it's like, okay, you got to kind of mature up a little bit and just, do that for 10 minutes and then you'll be okay. I think that my parents definitely did a great job. And obviously I really can't thank them enough for, hauling me around the country and all that stuff. So, but I think that it was very difficult, but I'm definitely a little bit more accustomed to it. And that's also why I'm home too. I get the meals my mom makes me for them. It's
Mama
really
ain't
nice.
raised no fool, man. She ain't made you right. She's a good cook, I take it.
My gosh, yeah.
What are your goals for this year? And I mean that real I guess descriptively, right? So not, the company answer of like, oh, I want to get better, but like, what are your goals, right? So coming off a 24/72, and there's always a part of every element that a professional, there's always something they look and they say, I wish I could do this better. What is the one part of your game you're working on right now? Or what is your goal for next season? Would it be average or more of that? Or like, what is your goal?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have too many goals. I would say I have objectives. So my objective is to kind of is to strike out 100 times or less.
Okay.
I think that I struck out a lot, way too many
Okay.
times this year. I definitely struck out,
You're
a good
taking more
amount.
chances though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that if I can just do that and also not give away at bats, if I can just really just take control and be in the present, being in the process each at bat, regardless of the outcome, I'm going to be happy. Am I going to get, a 25 mile or 30 mile an hour bloop shot that lands over the first baseman? Yeah, of course. Am I going to hit a ball 115 right at somebody caught for an out? Yeah, of course. But, I think when I do the process and all that stuff right, then the results will happen. And I think that also keeps me on that level head, keeps me on that levelness so I can just stay neutral throughout the whole entire year. But I think that those two are definitely a big part of that. And also on the catching side, just kind of, overall get better on, my whole entire game. Obviously I got a good award for that, but I'm not satisfied. I'm not, gonna lay down and just say, okay, that's it. I'm done or anything. I want to do that again and do it again and better.
You got a wicked arm, man. And that jump up, like I noticed, catcher's becoming a real sexy position, right? It really is. Like you see a lot of these guys, man, started kind of like with Adley, and then a couple years ago, and then just kind of made its way up now where, and I say sexy as in back in the day, even when I was younger playing ball, right? It was hard to get people to want to catch. Everybody wanted to play second or third. Everybody wanted to emulate Ken Griffey Jr. and play center or something. But nobody ever wanted to be who's an old school catcher, like nobody ever wanted to be one of. And now I love it because the spotlight has gone to catcher, man. Like a lot of these new rookies and all these people blowing up are catchers, which I think I think it's awesome. I think it's, my opinion, the toughest position in baseball, in my opinion. And I used to think up until the last couple of years that you guys never got enough credit, but you're starting to see it now also. So with that sexiness of it has come a new perspective on it, Do you know what I'm saying with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, catching has turned into an art form. It's
Totally.
the receiving, the blocking, the transfers, and the throwing out. All that stuff has definitely transformed. It's really, really cool because last couple years. I mean, this is even when I was playing last year and 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The catchers, you don't really get too much credit. And it definitely does kind of stink. But I'm not looking for credit or anything. It's just nice to hear sometimes. It's like, either you did a great job or you guys are working hard and you're doing all this stuff. Whatever it is, that's great. But during this year, I definitely felt a lot more appreciated from the organization and from the players as well. The players definitely have more respect for the catchers and the coaches.
That's what I'm saying.
They definitely have more respect for that, just
So
seeing how difficult it is.
You feel it as well.
Yeah, I definitely feel the respect coming in for that. And
I feel like it's been a shift in the game in general. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, which it's a long time overdue, man. So, I mean, Yogi Berra back there, dude, right? He should have been getting some more respect, I think, than he was. I mean, the guy like that. So getting into a couple fun questions here, man. We won't talk all business here. We'll have a little fun. And I gotta shoot this one at you, man. What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Michael Jackson song? I don't know. I mean, probably Thriller.
Okay. All right.
Probably Thriller, I would say. It's a good song.
It's a classic. You can't go wrong with Thriller.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, if somebody says Thriller, you're not going to say, what are you talking? I mean, it's a great song.
Yeah, of course. Put it on, please.
It's close to midnight. We'll get going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love it.
What's in your, I think walk-up songs are cool. What is your walk-up song?
My walk-up song was 10K by Halvey and Lecrae. It's a Christian song. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, Lecrae's a Christian rapper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard some of his stuff, and he's good, man. He can.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the song's great, and it's also a nice way to just spread the message wherever I can go. It's just my walk-up song, so why not put something on that glorifies him? It's pretty cool.
Totally, and it turns people on. Like, dude, that's super original, and that's cool too, because everybody, right? Like a walk-up song, and it can define you to a point. You have a way to express yourself. And your love of the Lord, right? You can express yourself through that. When people are like, yo, what's that song? And you could say Christian rock. And you're like, yeah, that's what I stand for. Respect. Yeah, respect.
Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite chicken wings in Buffalo? Let's tell the people here. Ready? On three. Let's see if we have the same answer. 1, 2, 3. Elmo's.
Duff's. Okay, that's a those are like one and the same, honestly. I would say they're very similar. I mean, I actually had Duff's like a couple nights ago, so I'm a little biased right now,
I
but
met my wife at Duff's, man. So hey,
that's
I
awesome.
love Duff's forever. Elmo's is a big
Yeah.
sponsor of the show. So shout out Elmo's. I was there today checking things out, man. They were open early, even in the snow and everything. So I fell in love with that place, man. Khalil Mack, you know,
Mm.
he kind of turned some heads with Elmo's. He started, that was his place, and they do it different over there, man. I love Duff's wings, don't get me wrong, but Elmo's, they just do it a little different.
Yeah, I do enjoy Elmo's wings a lot. They have like the Cajun barbecue,
The
Cajun,
double
all
dip,
that stuff. Like,
double dip.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Personally,
those
man,
are really good.
you cannot replicate a buffalo wing.
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, I've had some wings from around the country. I don't think you can. I mean, I don't even think I'm really being biased either. I think
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
genuinely tastes a little bit better.
yeah, for sure. They do it different. Any lady friend in the life?
No, I do not.
Might
Yeah,
have
so I
some,
gotta keep focusing on baseball.
Yeah, well, that's, you know what? Maybe that's why you had such a good season.
Yeah,
You got to eliminate all distractions. All right. But this was a lot
we'll
of
see.
fun, man. I'm really glad you took the time. I think sky's the limit for somebody like you. And you come as advertised. You're a class act, dude, salt of the earth type dude. And, and just thanks a lot for coming on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you having me on here and just including me in all this stuff. It's really cool to just talk about this and it's like you said, just the homegrown and just the Buffalo people. And it's really cool to just kind of talk about all that stuff. So I'm really glad I was able to be on here and you were able to invite me on. So thank you very much.
No, you got it, brother. You got it, man. Have a great night. Oh,